farm pest control in New Zealand, from piglets to goat to Tahr. High-speed flight training. Roy and the Falcons are getting ready for aerial combat.
So today we'll be mainly flying road crows.
We announce the winner of our latest kite optics competition giveaway. Plus we have news and hunting YouTube. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Neil's trip to the other side of the world is opening his eyes to different hunting and farming practices. From monster deer to wallaby pest control, he is seeing the positive and negative impacts of alien invaders on this country. On the last day of the trip, he travels with hunting guide Marcus from Venator Cardrona Safaris to a farm where they've got a serious pest problem. Our main target is a troublesome goat, but there's also the chance of a tahr for the pot.
Goats are interesting because people we get all sorts of strange emotional reactions. I mean, like, the goat's a fine beast, I've got nothing against him, but I'm no more in favour of him or against him than a deer or anything else, you know. But goats, particularly in all sort of farming and woodland communities where there's a big number of them, people are conscious of the damage they can do, and particularly in woodland. So everything we've seen and learned so far here in our trip to New Zealand has been a story of people successfully farming on one end and having to deal with problems where species were introduced without the consequences being thought about on the other. So we've joined Marcus with a walk in here in the afternoon to deal with what they would describe as a problem and to see if we can help.
On much flatter terrain, Neil is hunting through the thick gorse bush. There's a reason why this goat has frustrated the farmer. Then we spot a group of tahr working across a high bank. Marcus gets Neil on the deck for the shot.
Where do you want to shoot at?
Pigs.
Where are the pigs?
There's a momentary distraction, and Marcus instructs Neil to take the nanny and the kid.
The pigs still out.
Neil questions the backstop, but Marcus is happy.
Take her right in front of the chest.
Neil takes both animals cleanly.
You said to me shoot the pigs, I didn't see any.
I could hear them. What about the pigs, Neil?
Soon I touched the water, you know, that's really quite interesting, and I don't know how to answer that because the comment was to me, shoot the pigs, and I was that concentrated on the tahr up the slope that the pigs 15 feet away, I didn't actually see them. Well, I did laterally, and as I touched the rifle, they were gone. So this will be our chance to taste tahr and see what they're like.
Exactly.
And you'd said to me earlier they're one of your favourites to eat.
For me, it's some of the nicest meat. It's sort of in between venison and beef, really. It's not really like any other meat in a way. I really like it. It's beautiful.
Splendid. Look forward to trying it, and that'll be excellent. I'm loving mutton too.
Shooting is one thing, extraction is another. The banks are steep and layered, explaining Marcus's decision to let Neil shoot.
The wee sprog's lying here. The little one's lying there. So anyway, Marcus, learning all the time about tahr, and this is a yearling we're looking at. Am I right?
Yep, exactly, yep.
Yep. And these are quite good to eat, so.
Oh, it'd be amazing.
So we're going to get to try Marcus's famous tahr recipe here.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what we'll do with this one. We'll probably just straight backsteaks. Sometimes make a curry and stuff like that if they're no good, but this This will be melt in your mouth material, this one.
Well, I've got to give it to you. You're an excellent adventure guide and wildlife expert. You've guided me through some really interesting terrain there today. I felt like I was changing countries every step. So thanks for that. Great experience again.
Well done, Neil.
You're a gentleman. Thank you.
Enjoy yourself now.
Yeah, it's great. I've now decided he's trying to kill me.
Back at base, the kitchen prepares the Tahr. It has been an eye-opening trip for Neil. New Zealand has both wildlife spectacles and wildlife issues which are far from resolved. The hope is surely they get to a point which allows sustainable hunting to help pay for habitat protection. Thank you, Neil and Marcus. And we filmed that last year, just before the New Zealand Department of Conservation announced their controversial decision to cull 10,000 tahr on the South Island. Well, they've just announced they've achieved that a week ahead of schedule. If you are watching this in New Zealand, please tell us how that is being reported and how well it's being received. And here is David with the rest of the Fieldsports Channel News on the Fieldsports Channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. The CITES Convention has ended with some countries threatening to pull out. The SADC countries of Namibia, South Africa and Zimbabwe are now considering walking away from CITES because it's making decisions based on emotion, not science. Called COP18, the convention in Geneva refused to allow white rhino hunting, which would help save the white rhino, and imposed further bans on the trade in ivory, putting in doubt the survival of around 40,000 excess elephants in Hwangi National Park.
Because if CITES does not really help us to conserve our wild animals, but frustrating those who are doing good, then I think there's no need for us to stay in CITES.
The SADC countries are also angry that of the estimated $600 million that animal rights groups make every year for lobbying for bans on hunting, none of it goes into conservation projects. The Sun newspaper has outed massive pay increases at UK-based wildlife charities. Its article says that the top earner at the RSPCA made an eye-watering £229,999 in 2018. And WWF UK increased its spending on advertising from £700,000 to £13 million. A Labour government in the UK will ban trophy imports. Labour MP Sue Hayman, pictured here with animal rights activist Bill Oddie, speaks for the party on animal rights. She ignores the science and believes that trophy hunting reduces wildlife populations. She made the policy decision in a joint statement with the Campaign Against Trophy Hunting. Cumbria MP Hayman is also among Labour politicians calling for a review of grouse shooting. The future of shooting at the 2022 Commonwealth Games is up in the air. British shooting has given a lukewarm response to the government's demands to hold a shooting event alongside the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham and says it will gauge the appetite. Meanwhile, the Commonwealth Shooting Federation, supported by many of the shooting federations of Commonwealth countries, has its own plans to hold a full shooting competition at Altcar Ranges in the northwest of England, shown here. Its event will include all disciplines: archery, exhibition sports including running target, men versus women events and matching para events. India still plans to boycott the Birmingham Games if there are no shooting events. A report by the European Union says that the mountain hares of Scotland are in decline. The RSPB says that hare numbers have collapsed on grouse moors and therefore hare shooting should cease. Research by the Game and Wildlife Conservation Trust shows that grouse moors are the only places where hare numbers are doing well in Scotland, up to 35 times better than non-managed areas. The RSPB is backing a bill by a Green MSP to ban hare shooting in Scotland. The Roy Dennis Foundation has released the first of 60 sea eagles on the Isle of Wight. Despite opposition from local farmers who risk losing lambs to the birds, they're now free to colonise the south coast of England. The RSPB claims that white-tailed eagles support 26 full-time equivalent jobs on the Isle of Mull. However, there's only one dedicated eagle-watching business on Mull, and it's only open for the summer season, and it doesn't even have a credit card machine. A former biology teacher now has a criminal record because she owns a stuffed wolf. The police and the BBC raided Susan Tate's home after a member of the public saw her taxidermy collection on the estate agency website Zoopla. The raid was shown on BBC Crime Watch a month later, and Mrs. Tate said she felt vilified in front of the nation. After initially pleading not guilty at a preliminary hearing, Mrs. Tate admitted 4 counts of possession of a dead wild animal at Carnarvon Magistrates Court. She was fined £56 for each of the 4 charges and ordered to pay £650 in costs. The Mumsnet website says its members are right to cheer when hunters die. The online bullying call comes from a website dedicated to offering advice to mothers on bringing up their children. The British gun auction autumn season is underway. A round-action single-trigger over and under ejector gun by Glasgow gunmaker David Mackay Brown sold for £20,000 at Gavin Gardner annual auction of modern and vintage sporting guns at the Gleneagles Hotel in Scotland. Meanwhile, auctioneer Nick Holt is demonstrating an unusual long-range target rifle dating from the 19th century. It's up for sale at his 15th of September auction. Maltese hunters celebrate St. Julian's Day in the traditional way. They salute the statue of their patron saint by firing blank cartridges from the parish church of St. Julian in Malta. Afterwards, they release a number of turtle doves, part of the brood management scheme for turtle doves that they've instigated. African swine fever has hit Slovakia. Local hunters have been asked to reduce wild boar numbers immediately to a minimum. The government has agreed to develop a compensation scheme for hunters who lose all the wild boar in their areas. The New Zealand Department of Conservation has killed its target of 10,000 tahr. The DOC says it hit the number in the South Island a week before its deadline. It says a population explosion has seen the introduced species damaging pristine alpine areas. A hunting group has threatened legal action over the DOC's mass cull. A Canadian family came face to face with a bear in their kitchen. Mark Travers went to investigate when he heard his dog barking. When he saw the grizzly in his kitchen in British Columbia, he grabbed his rifle and shot it. And finally, an angler has caught a fish with 2 mouths. Debbie Geddes caught this trout on a lake in the US state of Vermont. The image has gone viral, leading anglers worldwide to ask if it's caused by injury or mutation. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stuck in the stories, fishing for facts.
Now, Roy has a Leica Fortis on test at the moment, but he's not using it in this next item. No, he's taking Ruth and James out for a spin. We do like strapping GoPros to birds of prey.
Blue Peter, eat your heart out.
However, we find it much easier sticking one on a big, bald, black polystyrene one.
We've just got to make sure that you catch it and we don't nosedive.
Roy is back out training a couple of his falcons for an upcoming event. He and the birds need to be flying fit, and in recent years the row crow has become a very useful bit of exercise equipment.
Are they this year's birds that we're playing with today?
No, we have got, what are they? They're both 3-year-olds actually, or they're both in their 3rd seasons. They're the ones that we're flying at the moment. So we've got the old Jerseyka that we started off with the row crow a few years ago. She was doing incredibly well, and we've got James that I was training up as a game hawk. He was turning out quite nice.
James?
James, yes, James.
You can call a hawk James.
Of course you can call a hawk James. I call my dogs David just so I can kick them. I can't kick. No, so as I say, we've got the Jerseyka, and then we've got the Joe Peregrine as well, we're swapping him over. So he was going as a game hawk, but we've changed him over for the row crow because there's a competition coming up next month. So today we'll be mainly flying row crows. We had to pull them out of molt and get them going. we're pushing them through, and they're getting there now. So we're getting some good fitness on them. But it is absolutely scorching. I don't know what the temperature is now, but it's been up to about 33, 34 today. I was hoping it would be a little bit cooler, but you can't have everything. We just won't be able to push them quite as hard as I'd like.
So what's the competition?
It's a row crow competition. So there is the manufacturers of row crow that have done it. So we've been kindly invited to come and compete. So we shall give it a go and see how we fare. Not a bad cat.
There you go. Finally. So, with James under starter's orders, Roy prepares to launch.
So what we're doing is we've got the row crow ready, and we have a camera facing backwards. So hopefully we'll get James chasing on the way up there. And we'll, fingers crossed, we'll get some good footage from it. And all we're doing is we're going to climb up. We're going to climb him up to about 300, 350 feet. And then as soon as he gets on terms with it, he'll hopefully come in just above it. And then as soon as he's overpowered it or out-climbed it, then it will encourage him to start stooping at it. I think it's going to be quite interesting seeing if we can out-climb him and out-manoeuvre him with the camera on though, because he's certainly a quick little bugger when he gets going. Right, you ready? Okay. Hey! No!
There's a problem,
No, too
and
heavy.
David gets the blame.
Oh, we've got it in the wrong place on it.
His GoPro is too heavy. Last time we did this, he
I'll
used
try,
a much
I'll try
cheaper
again.
and lighter action camera.
In the best Fieldsports channel tradition. Right.
Innovators.
Okay, so second time lucky. After David just made me crash one row crow, we shall see if we can get this one up, and hopefully we'll get James on this one. So what we're gonna do, because obviously the row crow's been slowed down a little bit by the camera, because David decided to bring one that was made out of lead. So we're going to get it up and get it flying a little bit first, and hopefully give the crow a bit of a head start. So let's see if we can get it off the ground.
This time we're off. Roy won't be able to give James the normal spin, but we might get some footage from the row crow.
So all we're going to do is just take him round in circles. He's climbing really well. He's just going off over there, making a little bit of height, because he knows it's easier to make height on this particular bit of ground over there. So I'm just going to take the crow around. So I've just brought it down a little bit, just bringing him round onto it. And he just destroyed it.
Unfortunately, his two strikes are behind the camera, but we do get a bird's eye view of being supper.
Well done, James. Who's up next, Charlie?
We've got Ruth next with the Cross Leica Falcon, and hopefully she'll do just as well as James did. Well done, James. You like the name, do you, David?
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Suits them now.
Yeah, exactly. We don't like to make them feel excluded. Give them human names.
Go, whoa! Pull up, pull up, pull up. There we go.
Next is Ruth. Roy again takes it easy. It's a poor flight and Roy wants to give it another go tomorrow so we can fine-tune the camera placement and get some better in-flight entertainment. Again, James is up first.
Not yet. Go on then.
James strikes and brings the crow down. Roy explains just how these birds catch and kill their prey in the wild.
when a falcon stoops on its quarry like that, that's how a falcon relies on catching and killing its quarry mainly. Yeah, they will generally attack from a waiting on position or a position above their quarry and come stooping in at it, so catching it by surprise and knocking it out. So they're not as rough and tumble as hawks, whereas a hawk will chase something and grab it and pull it down, and they've got the means and the power to secure it and hold it. The falcons generally tend to knock their quarry down, and if they don't kill it on the strike, then they've got a tooth on their beak which they use to break the neck of the quarry. So it's over and done with a lot quicker with a falcon than it is with a hawk.
It's just that bit there.
Charlie shows us the tooth on the beak used to administer the coup de grace.
There, there's a notch coming down. So that there will break the vertebrae.
The last flight of the day is Ruth versus an unburdened roe crow. No camera this time.
So we're just going to carry on climbing. She's just gone right over there, finding height. She's going to go, she's right out there now if you look.
But this is what they do in the wild?
This is what she'll be doing in the wild. So she'll be climbing up, trying to get above it. And then as soon as she's got above it, as soon as she's got the height advantage, then she should start coming into it and start trying to take us out. She's coming in hard at it again, and then we'll just let her take it in front of us here. You all right?
It's a much better flight, and Roy is happy at last. He's not great in the heat. For more information about roe crow, go to rowfalconry.com. Now, we had a chat with Roy for my weekly vlog that goes out to the Fieldsports Nation shareholders this week, and we discovered that his apprentice, Charlie, started watching Fieldsports channel when he was just 11 years old, and it's one of the reasons he got into falconry, so that's nice to hear. That's also us messing with children's minds. If you'd like us to mess with your minds, you can join the Fieldsports Nation too. Click on fchannel/Fieldsports Nation to find out how. Now we're going to choose a winner. Many of you, 600 odd, entered the competition to win a pair of kite binos, and I've popped all your names into my special winner choosing app here. Look, there's hundreds of you. Look at all them. And I press the choose button here. Oh, it's brilliant. And the lucky winners, I think I can get it to say it.
Robert Mackay, Kite 8x42 will do. Thank you on Facebook.
Robert Mackay, who entered on Facebook and correctly wrote down Kite 8x42 will do. Thank you, Robert. We're going to find out your address and send out those binoculars to you. Now, from a lucky winner to the wider world of hunting and shooting on YouTube, it is Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. YouTube is all over the row rut and all over Europe as some of the better edits of successful stalks find their way onto the platform. Here's Hunting Room 100 clicks east of Krakow for this buck hunting film. Also in Poland, Germany's Hunter brothers are after buck during the rut, and they are wonderfully successful calling them with a whistle. Wild Serbia is out after roebucks during the rut, plus boar and predators if they come across them, and they do. It's in Serbian with English subtitles. Thanks to Dean Lloyd for this from the Lloydies Outdoors channel. They are shooting foxes in southern Victoria, Australia, showing their three main methods: spotlighting, lamping, flushing the creeks, and whistling them in. In Russia, a channel called literally Reloading Shooting Hunting is out after corvids with a Benelli and a GoPro on his head, and he is shooting straight. Deer Meat for Dinner is in South America shooting walked up partridge over pointers. This is completely normal for a British shooter. Fascinating to see it is so alien for an American, and he loves it. Whitebone Creations Hunting is out with a friend called Bob to find and stalk a Dahl sheep in Alaska. It's one of the toughest hunts in the USA, and this 30-minute film soaks up both the pain and the glory and wrings it out over you, the viewer. And finally, proof that if you want a big pig the world over, you need thermal. Ultimate Night Vision is in Texas, where this kind of pest control is about shooting lots of bullets. Not a sport for the purists, but they end their night with a colossus. That's it for this week. I have put all these films into a playlist for you. Click on the eye symbol top right or check this film's description. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv.
This time on African Hunter, hot on the heels of the roan antelope with Donnie Hill. We also join up with Alan Schenk and Claudia Ongero as they take on the spiral horn slam. African Hunter is now on YouTube, airing on the Fieldsports channel. To view the series, go and click on the link in the description of this video.
Well, that's it for this week. Many things you can do right now. Pop over to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv, or the quick way to get there is F Channel, and you can see latest news that's on the front page, latest shows. You can sign up for our newsletter, which covers Fieldsports Britain. That's at 7 PM UK time every Wednesday, and we send that to you weekly. And of course you can join the Fieldsports Nation, in which case you will also get my personal vlog on Tuesdays. That's fchannel/fieldsportsnation or fieldsportschannel.tv/fieldsportsnation if you have the time to type it. I will see you next week. In the meantime, good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.